Okay. Well, maybe we should just start by introducing ourselves. I think most of you know me. I'm Jennifer Davenport. I teach art at St. George's. Really glad to be here today.
Paulina McGougan. Most of you know me as Señora, and I teach Spanish in the middle school. And I am looking forward to these student presentations. I waited all year for it.
We have a few requests for you. First of all, we're going to ask audience members to mute their microphones and videos while someone is presenting so that there aren't any distractions. We're also asking that you do not use the chat feature today so that we can be really focused on everyone that's presenting. After each presentation, there'll be a time to ask questions or to give comments, and we'll know that you have a question or comment by using the raise your hand feature. To find the raise your hand feature, if you hover your cursor over the middle of the screen, you'll see a little icon that looks like a hand. If you click that, we'll get a notification that you have something to say. Can I just get everybody to practice raising and then unraising their hands? I see Gannon, Bryson, Ashton. Perfect. Perfect. You got it. Thank you. Paulina, do you think there's anything that we've forgotten for the... I don't either. I think we're ready to begin. So we are going to start with Ben, our brave first presenter.
Yep.
And he is going to be talking to us about Hungary, I think.
Yeah.
So Ben, if you want to turn your microphone and video on,
Okay.
maybe introduce yourself on camera first, and then you can start your presentation.
All right. Is that good?
Yes, that's great.
All right. My name is Ben Morales, and I'm doing my presentation on Westcott, Hungary. I'm in 8th grade, and I'm going into 9th grade. So to share my screen, yeah, all right. You see that?
Not yet.
The arrow has to be facing down, Ben.
Yeah, it is.
And then you have to click on your desktop.
Yeah, I'm in my presentation. Can you not see it? And
No, we're still seeing your camera.
Your sofa.
Oh,
Leave it. Hey.
There we go.
all right.
Yep.
So, like I said, my name is Ben Morales, and I did Westcott, Hungary. So, my idea with this project was I was going to learn and help show the national traditions and holidays of the country. It is located in Europe. So the theme of the land is basically an old traditional land focusing on wood houses and farms, and the land is supposed to take you through a journey of stories and holidays of Hungary. Hungary is a country full of rich culture and traditions. It has a population of 9.7 billion people with one prominent religion, Catholicism, and their main language is Hungarian. So the pavilion. This was my original sketch for it. It was not very artistic, and I was basically going to take you through a series of houses and buildings that would just show you stories and traditions in the traditional Hungarian culture. So the pavilion would show you the traditions, and I wanted to tell you and basically take you through the stories, like traditional stories. So if there was like a story that's mainly told to children when they're born, then maybe you'd take you through that and have you experience that. So like I said, the land is very old. It's supposed to be old, focusing on farms and farmhouses, and the buildings are also very old. This is an example of basically the location and the greenery. And these are the colors. The main colors are black, white, blues, and light and dark green. The main sounds that you would hear would be things like birds, wind, bushes, brushing in the wind, and farmers working. The pavilion is supposed to make you feel like you're somewhere before technology that is very traditional. So on the food, it would be basically 3 main Hungarian traditional foods with a traditional drink. I'm not going to try and pronounce those, but yeah. So this is everything basically put into one mood board is what it's called. The colors, the architecture, the greenery, and the location, all put together to really show what the pavilion would be about. So the attraction. This is a picture of the ride that I made. I made it out of cardboard and styrofoam. And yeah. So it starts with a track that takes you through a forest into what looks like an old cabin. Inside the cabin, it turns into be an old library with bookshelves and desks. However, that quickly changes. You start to see everything change. It puts you into a story. The track eventually finishes, and that story moves on. This time it takes you through a farm, and the same thing repeats, taking you through a different story. It finally takes you to the last building and finishes the ride. I wanted to create an atmosphere that takes you and immerses you into the story. I chose the ride that I did because after researching, I found that Hungary has many interesting traditions and stories and holidays. I really like the idea of going through and being part of a story or a tradition, and this helps tell the story of the pavilion because it's taking you and immersing you into the story. This is a picture of one of the buildings. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. If you will stop sharing your screen and go back to being on camera so we can ask questions and give compliments.
All right.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I think the pictures you chose were beautiful. I've never been to Hungary, but your presentation makes me want to go. So
Yeah.
if that was the goal, you were successful.
It's a very green and not really city-like place.
I see that Preston has his hand up. Preston, you can unmute your microphone and ask your question.
If this were actually going to happen, would you have set all this up, or?
Well, so the project is basically you choose a country and you create like a theme about that country. And for instance, mine was Hungary, and I chose the theme of the traditions and stories. And basically, you choose a country, choose a theme about it, and you would design a theme park and a ride about that country and that theme. And that's what I did by building that ride and thinking about that theme park, the pavilion.
Okay.
Other questions and comments?
All the students are supposed to participate during these 2 minutes of questions about the project.
I see Joaquin's hand. Go ahead, Joaquin.
Yeah, this is actually his dad, Jerry. A nice presentation, Ben. So I was just wondering what your connection to Hungary was. You have some family connection, or what was your initial motivation there?
I've always been very interested in it because, like Jennifer said, it's a very beautiful place. And it's very, so I just thought it would be an interesting country and a good challenge.
Yeah, it was. And like Jennifer, it makes me want to go on vacation there as well. So good job.
Yeah.
Ashton?
What is your favorite aspect of Hungary?
Probably, honestly, like how green and how many plants are there. It's not like there's not very many big cities, and it's mainly just a lot of like small towns. There's some cities, but it looks very beautiful and green.
We have like 30 more seconds. Would you like anybody to ask the last question? Anybody want to? Ben, what do you think is the most important thing you learned with this project?
Probably their traditions and culture. There's very deep culture with many traditions, way more than we have in the U.S. And it was very interesting to me seeing like another country's culture and how they do things.
Very good. Good job.
Thanks, Ben. Nicely done. Good job.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good job, Ben.
All right. Next up on our list is Joaquin, and we're going to give him just a minute to get ready for his presentation, make sure his screen is ready to share. So Joaquin, as soon as you're ready, if you'll let us know, then we can get started.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay. So you guys see it?
Yes.
All right. All right. So, hello, my name is Joaquin Kills, and for my genius hour, I am researching about the homeless. So, at the beginning of the year, I had two objectives: to help the homeless and help the stray animals. So, at the beginning, I went to one of the directors of the Union Gospel and asked them what I could do to help and what people can do to help. So, fast forward to March, the pandemic started. I had to tweak my project and turn it into basically a research project. So at the end, I did not meet my objectives. So as I said, I did research. I did turn my project into a research project, and I went on various websites such as Union Gospel. I had difficulty finding the right one that had the right information, but I ended up finding the right one at endhomelessness.org. Had all the right information, a lot of great information from that. So what is homelessness? So homelessness is when a person or people are forced to live without a home or a shelter. They have no money and they're forced to live on the streets. So statistics. So the global average for homelessness is that 17 out of every 10,000 people are predicted to be homeless in the world. That's only in the world, though in Washington, it is 30 people out of every 10,000 that will be homeless, or predicted to be. In 2007, Washington had around 647,000 people that were homeless. And last year, in 2019, the Union Gospel had a major breakthrough, getting a lot of people, homeless people, back on their feet. And in 2019, it went down to around 568,000 people that are homeless in Washington. So I could not find any statistics for 2020, but you can imagine how much numbers are rising. Almost every day, people are losing their jobs and struggling for money. And I found out that people that are homeless are not an option for being tested by any hospitals because they have no insurance, no money. And so shelters have been setting up stations to test homeless people and treat them. So crowds of homeless people are rushing to a shelter, but once they leave that shelter, some of them are met with the conditions of the virus. So, as you know, crowds of people are basically a beacon for the virus. So it isn't good for people's health to be in crowds. So a lot of people are going away from shelters with the virus. To give you an example of this, at New York, 63,000 people went to a shelter in one day. 25% of those people walked away with the virus. Another quarter of that 25% unfortunately died. So I'm going to change the subject a little bit. So how to help stray animals. So strays are basically similar to the homeless. They are dogs and cats that have no home, but they can get infected with the virus. So usually or normally, if you saw one, you could take them in and help them get back on their feet. But right now, what the best thing that you can do is just call the nearest shelter or a veterinarian and point them out, and the veterinarian or shelter people will come with the necessary equipment to not get infected. So how can people help with this homeless situation? So you should always treat them with respect and dignity. You should give them food or supplies. If you have the time, you can go into a restaurant and get them some food. You can point them in the direction of a shelter, but right now I would recommend not to, since just be aware that lots of crowds are going into a shelter, and that person that you are helping has a good chance of getting the virus. So point them in the direction of a hospital and make sure that they get the treatment that they need. Don't give them any money though. Any questions?
Thanks, Joaquin. I'll start with a question and then I'll go to Gannon. I'm curious what your original objective was for your project. You said you weren't able to meet it, but what was it? What was your hope or goal?
I was hoping to raise some money for the Union Gospel to help them help the homeless, and possibly raise some money for some veterinarians that really need it. Help stray animals.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. Gannon, you'll have to unmute. Yep.
What was why did you think of this? Like, what was, I guess, why did you think of helping the homeless? I mean, I know that sounds like a bad question, but yeah.
Well, originally I went to downtown Spokane and I saw one of Union Gospel's little station things, and I have tons of homeless people there that were basically begging for food, begging for money. Made me really sad, so I kind of chose it. Just this Genius Hour based off that.
Cool.
Preston.
Why shouldn't you give them any money? Why shouldn't
Well, I don't know if you can really trust them if you know them that well, but the best thing you can do is just give them supplies and food.
Okay.
Other questions and comments? I'll ask a follow-up question. Since you weren't able to meet your objective, do you have plans to attempt this in the future or to study this more?
So I'm going to have to say no to that. I think that this is a very, very big, attempt at getting the homeless, but like help the homeless. But right now, with having all the stuff that I do, and it's kind of hard to do this as an off side. I had many difficulties trying to find any time, so I'd probably not be able to, but I'm sure that people with better time and better passion will be able to succeed more.
Yeah.
We have no more questions. We are 2 minutes and a few seconds. We have questions for one more question? No?
Oh, this is Joaquin's dad again. I'll just ask Joaquin, how do you feel about the situation down in Spokane or the homeless situation here now that you've learned a little bit more about it? Any better?
Not much better. Actually, might have got it a little worse.
It's a serious situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Joaquin. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing
Thank
that
you,
important
Joaquin.
information.
Good job. Oh, Preston has one more question.
Wait. This is Preston's mom, Shannon, and I just want to say nice presentation and thank you for sharing that research with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Joaquin.
Thank you, Joaquin.
Okay.
Good job.
Next on the list, I see Bryson and Vihan. So we're going to give them a minute to get ready to do their presentation. And when they're ready, they should let us know. Preston, your hand's up again.
Sorry,
No?
I never lowered it from last time.
Oh, that's okay.
Ready, Vihan?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Do we go now?
Yeah, if you'll start with introducing yourself and then you can jump into your presentation.
Okay. Hello, my name is Vihan and my partner is Bryson, and today we're going to be showing you what pit bull awareness is about.
Who knows what pit bull awareness is?
Well, Pit Bull Awareness Day is a day to appreciate and change stereotypes about pit bulls that are false.
Who knows? When is pit bull awareness?
It is always on the last Saturday of October.
This year, it is on October 24th.
Pit bulls come from a breed called the bully dogs.
Here are some of them, the biggest going from left to right.
Like the Johnson American Bulldog, the Boxer, the Boston Terrier, and the American Bully are a few of them.
Like all dogs, pit bull come from a place.
They originate in the UK, the US, and the British Isles.
Whenever you look at a pit bull, you think they will bite you.
But in proven studies, they are actually the second nicest dog in the country, and they will only do bad things if their owner do bad things.
When we went to the adoption event, we volunteered and asked some questions.
Here they are, and we think the most important one was, are pit bulls aggressive? And they said no, they just want to please their owner.
Hopefully we changed your mind about pit bulls.
If so, here are some sites that you can adopt them at. Or you could just look up sites to adopt pit bulls.
Thank you for listening.
And we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Bryson and Vihan. Good job. Any questions?
I see lots of hands. How about we start with Ash?
Hi, this is Jessica, Ashton's mom. Good job, boys. You did change my opinion about pit bulls, so your objective there was met. Do either of you have pit bulls, or have you had personal experience with pit bulls, and that's where your passion comes from?
Yeah, I have a girl pit bull.
I don't have one yet.
Do your parents know you're getting one?
No, I don't think I am.
Good job.
All right. How about Gannon?
What inspired you to make this, to do this pit bull genius hour project?
It was just really interesting to me and him, so we just decided on doing it.
Okay.
Preston?
I just wanted to say, I'm not a dog person, but you kind of made me want to get one.
Oh, that's so cute.
Cassidy?
Did you believe that pit bulls were bad before you started researching this?
Not really.
Okay.
Well, I always thought that pit bulls were so aggressive, but you kind of make me, your presentation is kind of make me rethink the way that I view pit bulls. Thank you for sharing.
I'm
Any more
curious if you learned anything new when you were doing your research, something you didn't know before.
I learned that they're actually the second nicest dog. I didn't think they'd be like that high up, but
Yeah, I didn't know that they came from the UK either.
I didn't know that.
Are there other questions or comments for Bryson and Vihan?
Okay. Well, our next presenter, well, let's say thank you, Bryson and Biham. Great presentation.
Thanks.
Our next presenter is Ashton.
Hello.
Hola.
My name is Ashton Kazanek, and I'm in 8th grade going into 9th. And my Westcott is on Poland.
Okay, it's ready.
So you may be asking yourself, what is Westcott? Westcott was a planned second theme park for the Disneyland Resort in California, and it was a replica, or was going to be a replica of Epcot, which is the World Showcase kind of thing. And it was located in Florida and was dedicated to the celebration of human achievement, technological innovation, and international culture. So Poland has a population of about 38 million people with a population density of 320 people per square mile. The majority of the people speak Polish, but there are other minority languages spoken, and only 100,000 people speak English as their first language, but 37% of Polish people can speak English. And the major religion is Roman Catholic. So, designing a pavilion. So, you need a story, and the story is for me was the balance between humans and nature, such as my color palette on the right is generally colors that you'd see in nature, such as green, brown, black, blue, and white, and how my text on navigating the area will be written in stone. So I went for a castle design with a major European influence and a major stone design with natural looking stone structures and a lot of Polish influence in that as well. So for sound, I wanted kind of a naturey, but also a olden days town kind of feel, such as chirping birds in the distance, and old squeaky wheels on wagons and bumps, and distant hammering of a blacksmith's shop. So for my menu, I had one appetizer, entree, and dessert for each, and different beverages. So for the appetizer, I had Polish sausages and charcuterie, which is a type of sausages and eggs. And the entree was Polish breaded chicken cutlets, which is chicken with bread crust around it with things such as mushrooms, eggs, and potatoes inside. And for the dessert, I had baked angel wings, which is a twisted pastry covered in and dipped in powdered sugar. For the beverages, I had assorted teas and coffee with soda, milk, chocolate milk, and water. So the mood board. I went for the balance between old and new and the balance between natural and man-made. As you can see, the stone, a lot of stone structures, but there's still forests and natural growing trees and stuff all around. So a dark ride. A dark ride is an indoor amusement ride on which guests experience a story through various scenes within the show building. And Disney uses this quite often on their rides. And the thing is, they like using them because they can control your sights, the sounds, even the smells and touch. So for the creative process, first you must brainstorm what you kind of want your general idea to be, and then you get some class feedback on like what you should improve on. And then you create your storyboard, which is how you want your story to lay out in your attraction. So for my ride system, I used an enhanced motion vehicle with a 12-person capacity that simulates movements such as rough castle halls or a dirt road. So for my ride layout and testing, in the background I have a picture of what my track looks like, and the black little cars going around is the testing of it. And it had a duration of 2 minutes and 14 seconds with a capacity of 2,160 people an hour, with 7 included show scenes. So for my scale model, I went for a castle design, and going from the left to the right, swerving down to up, you can see the entrance of it, the castle. And then you go in and you see a couple scenes, and you go through this long corridor, learning about all this stuff. And then you go outside the castle walls and are attacked by a group of bandits or another army. And then you go back inside the castle and are greeted with a bunch of soldiers and are appreciated, and there's a celebration. So I learned that Polish architecture is beautiful and unique beyond anything else in the world. A major problem I faced was the walls inside the castle were not staying upright, so I managed to make a type of like glue system where you glue the bottom and then you add another layer below it to prop it up some more. And I just thought it was, Polish architecture is amazing, including their castles designs. Thank you. Any questions?
Wow, Ashton, you worked really hard on that. I can tell that took a long time to build and to create. Nice job.
I second Jennifer. Beautiful work, Ashton. Any questions? Well, I'll start with a question for you, Ashton. What motivates you to do your project on on Poland? Do you have family?
My dad is from Poland, and I'm also 50% Polish. So I thought it would be neat to learn more about basically half of me.
Very nice. Have you tried the food, some of the food you described in your menu?
Yes. My favorite thing in the menu is actually the chicken cutlets, and they're super good. They're amazing. And my dad makes them in there. Good.
Yummy. Any questions? Are there any questions? Other questions for Ashton?
I would ask, did you learn something about Poland that you didn't know before through your research?
I learned that generally the people, like how people spend their time in Poland is much more different than the United States, such as, like, there's a lot of big parks around, and generally they will be filled with people, and everyone just loves to talk with each other, have fun, and if you invite a guest over, or a guest is coming over, then you create like this whole entire feast, even though you know not all of it will be eaten.
Wow, that's impressive. Other questions or comments? Anything else you want to add, Ashton?
No.
Okay, nice job.
Nice
Well
job.
done.
Good job, Ashton.
And next on our list, I see that we have Remy. So Remy, if you'll go ahead and set up for your presentation, let us know when you're ready. And I just want to remind the student visitors that are listening to the presentation that the expectation is that you're going to be active listeners thinking of questions and comments at the end of each presentation.
Okay.
All right, you look great. Go for it.
Okay. So hi, my name's Remy Kiltz, and welcome to my presentation of sign language. Okay. Okay, so why sign language? So I chose sign language to be able to communicate with deaf people and have like a simple conversation with them. That was my goal. Some interesting facts that I learned was just like spoken language. There's many sign languages in different areas, because as you see in the picture, it started off as French sign language, and then this French guy came over to America and brought the French sign language with him, and then he converted it and like changed a little bit into American Sign Language. American Sign Language is SAL. That's what we use in the U.S. and existed in the 1500s. So American Sign Language, in sign language we don't use full sentences. For example, in spoken language we say, "Hello, my name is Remy." However, in sign language we use sign, "Hello, my name Remy." We use our whole upper body and head and our facial expressions to set the mood and tone, because in spoken language, our voice kind of shows how our mood is and our face expressions, but since we don't use our voice in sign language, we use our body movement and our head to show if we're angry, sad, happy, stuff like that. Some of my success and failures. So success I had was that I learned some history about sign language that I never knew about before I started. I also learned some basic sign language. I started off with the ABCs, and then I moved up to the colors and some animals, relatives. Some of my failures were that I kind of lost interest while working on it. I started to not enjoy it. Another one was that I had a plan to do 90 minutes per week. However, I only did like 30 or less minutes per week. Something I learned from my failure was that I should have had someone learn sign language with me, so that I could have someone to communicate with while working on it. What I learned about myself was that I can get bored really easily over something, and sign language just wasn't my thing, and I needed to find something that was actually inspired me to continue. I also learned that I need to work on following schedules and plans for the future, because then I got stressed out when I was doing sign language, because I wasn't learning as much as I wanted to. And I also learned that I need to ask for help more often. I personally don't like asking for help because it makes me feel like I'm weak and I don't know something, which is true. I don't know what haven't been asked for. I need to work on that in the future. In the future, I do not want to continue sign language, but I still want to be able to do like basic readings in case I meet a deaf person in around the world, and then I still want to be nice and say like, "Hi, how are you?" in sign language. If I do continue sign language, I would do it in a group. Like I said before, I'll love to have someone do it with me so I can communicate and enjoy it a lot better. Thank you for listening, and any questions?
I see Ashton's hand up.
Yeah. So how do you first start learning sign language? Do you start by learning the ABCs and how to do that, or do you learn small sentences?
It depends on the person. I personally wanted to learn ABCs because it was a letter, so I could spell something out with my hands, and that was a step for me to help myself get started on sign language.
Gannon?
Hi, I have a question. How similar is learning sign language compared to learning another language? Like how similar is learning sign language to learning Spanish if it isn't your native language?
Well, if you don't know Spanish that well, then it won't come easy to you, and it's difficult, and you got to practice a lot. It's the same with sign language. They're if you don't know them both well, they're both very difficult to start with, but after you get a hang of it, the movements and everything on where your hands are placed, it gets a lot easier.
Oh, okay.
Joaquin?
So, why did you do sign language? What was your original motivation?
So, my main goal was to have a full conversation with the deaf person. Now, but that I think about it, sign language just wasn't my thing. Yeah.
How did you learn what you learned? Did you watch YouTube videos or did you use books?
So I used 3 websites on my computer. The one I used the most was called Signing Savvy, and so pretty much, you since they don't use full sentences, you have to figure out which words that can be used in sign language. So I typed in the full sentence, and then if one of the words didn't come up, then I just used all those words, all the other words, and I signed them out, but I spoke the word that still wasn't signed out. So, yeah.
Okay. Ben?
Would you say it was easier or harder than learning a language, than learning another language through school, Spanish, for example?
It was harder for me personally because it involves more hand movements and placing them. You got to know where to place them. You got to know if this word is actually able to be signed into sign language. In other Spanish, then you just use your vocal cords, and you say it. You have to pronounce it right. You don't really have to really move anywhere. So yeah.
Cassidy?
Would you say it was easier or harder than you thought it would be to learn?
Harder.
Okay.
I didn't hear your answer. Did you say harder? Harder. Okay. Preston?
I forgot my question, sorry.
Okay. Joaquin, I see you still have a hand up. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So Remy,
Mm-hmm.
say at St. George's, and you had an option to take Spanish, or they had a sign language class right there at St. George's. Which one would you take?
Spanish.
Okay.
Good
job,
answer.
Any other questions or comments?
Good job, Remy.
Thank you, Remy.
Okay.
All right, next up is going to be Preston, so we'll give him a second to set up his computer and let us know when you're ready, Preston.
Hi, my name is Preston, and my Genius Time project was How to Pokemon. How to Pokemon is the process of how I taught myself how to draw legitimate looking Pokemon or Fakemon, which are fake Pokemon. Why did I do this? Well, I did this because for quite a while I had been drawing Fakemon, but they didn't seem real enough. So I wanted to make them look more real. Here are the two pictures that I drew before I got any work done. So this is an existing Pokemon, and this is and this is a custom Pokemon that I drew based off of an idea from Weiss. How did I do it? Well, to get better, I did a couple of things. I watched a couple of videos explaining how. I put one at the end. I also put a link if we don't have enough time. And for weeks, I got ideas about what to draw from friends and family and drew them. Because why not? Alright, some advice I have is if you have two different types of blacks and like one is lighter than the other, get a white spot. Then if you're drawing on actual paper, then use your lighter black to make a little highlight and then draw the rest of the eye out of a normal black. Or if you're doing it on a computer, and you can do the black spot, and then on top of the black spot do your lighter black, so that you kind of have like a highlight. But here are my final pictures. This one and this one were done on paper, and this one and this one were done on the computer. Where do I think this? I think this will really bring me to. Well, let's try this again. I was kind of planning to make sort of a business out of this, where like someone would come up to me and tell me a real Pokemon to draw or an idea for a Fakemon to draw, and I would kind of draw it for them and give it to them. But this is the video I was talking about, how to draw in the Pokemon style, where he created a different version of an existing Pokemon called Palkia. And it really helped me out a lot, but here's the link. But yeah, hope you enjoyed.
Thanks, Preston. Questions and comments for Preston? I'll ask, do you have a favorite Pokemon?
Snom. It's from the newest game.
I see Remy's hand.
Games.
Remy?
Yeah. Okay. About that business, so did you decide to not do the business, or was it because of COVID?
No, I'm still going to do it, but during school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cassidy.
Do you have a favorite one that you created yourself?
It was the first one that I showed that I drew on computer. Okay.
The green one?
Yeah.
I liked that one too.
I call it Cacolite because it's like a cactus.
Ah, I can see that. Was that an idea you had on your own, or did someone give you that idea?
That was an idea I had on my own.
Good one.
did the Pokemons have like powers? Like if you draw, for example, I noticed one that it has like hairs. Did the hairs have some?
No, those
Power.
are supposed to be like spines on the cactus.
Oh, okay.
And it had like an electric ring around it that it would like use, but I can show you another one. I can show you the ability that I made for the cactus.
Oh,
or the not the cactus, but the phoenix one. Which is the one that I got. Where is it? Let me just find it real quick.
Don't take too long.
Here we go. And oop. All right. Let me just show it. Here. And it would have a signature. So the Phoenix's signature ability would be Phoenix Tears. At half of its health or below, once per battle, at half of this thing's health or below, it would heal half of the total health on every team member and reviving team members if they are fainted. But it does not work if it is one hit KO'd. And yeah.
Very nice. Well designed. Good job, Preston.
Thanks.
You should think about giving lessons to some of the younger lower school students. I think that they would really like some of your tips.
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
Great idea, Jennifer.
We'll talk about that when school starts again.
Yeah.
All right, last call for questions and comments. All right, Preston. Good job. You did it.
Good job, Preston. Love it. Love your presentation.
All right, next up is Gannon, so we'll let him get ready to share.
All right. Just loading. Okay, can you see that?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
My name is Gannon Sanborn, grade 7th, and I am here to present my Genius Hour project. Here we go. I have always wanted to be invisible. In a perfect world, if we were in a room, I'd be standing in the back, and you would be looking for me with no idea I was standing right there. You see, I've always wanted to be a superhero, and the coolest superpower, at least to me, is invisibility. No surprise, I will never be a superhero. So, I wanted to look for something else I've always wanted to do and actually can. That's why I wrote a book. I gave myself a challenge to write and publish my own book. I also wanted to see it for sale online anywhere in the world. So I needed to build a website, and that is what I've been doing since November 2019. The process. I had to come up with an idea for a story. I then made an outline for my story and planned everything out. I added scenes with drama and dialogue, and then I edited and revised the whole story. The story is about a boy named Alex and his friends, Max and Jenny, living in a future dystopian world where a plague has turned human beings into infected zombies. The marketing process. It's not enough to just write a book. I needed a cover. I had to meet with an illustrator and work out the cover art. Now, I have a book and a cover, but I needed to sell it. I needed to build a website for e-commerce, and that's exactly what I did. This is what my website looks like, and this is also what my website looks like. In conclusion, I wrote a book. I actually set out to do something I've never done before, and I did it. The coronavirus has made actually publishing this book a greater challenge than I had originally planned for, but the story is told. I created a world, a cast of characters, and drove them around through a post-apocalyptic world. A lot of people start a book, but they never finish it. I've learned I can, and while I'll never be invisible, I know now I have the power to do almost anything I set my mind to. Thank you for listening. Questions?
Wow, you are a really great presenter. You made me want to listen and know what was going to happen next. So well done.
Great presentation, Gannon.
So questions and comments for Gannon. Preston.
This is Preston's mom, Shannon. Where can we get this book?
Well, right now, publishing has been made a lot harder than with coronavirus and stuff, but I'm thinking about putting it on Kindle pretty soon. Maybe like Kindle, the online Kindle. So I'm thinking about doing that right now. Right now it's just a PDF on my computer, but I'm thinking of uploading it to online. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I have a follow-up question. How long is your book?
How long is my book? 45 pages, because basically what happened, do you want to see what the book looks like? Because I have it.
Sure.
Okay. Let me, I'm just going to get that right up here. Hold on, it's loading in. Okay. So. Application, sorry about this. I am just enter this. Sure. Okay. Can you see that? Hold on. Let me just.
Not yet.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a little flip one. Sorry, my bad. There we go. So this is my book that I wrote. I can also zoom in.
Very nice.
And yeah, so I'm thinking of uploading it onto Kindle, and yeah.
I would love to read it.
Is this the longest thing you've ever written?
Okay. Yes, this is the longest thing I've ever wrote. Yes.
And then what did you do for the editing process?
For the editing process, basically, what I did is I first got, I kind of went back through and edited some things. And then my dad actually helped me out a lot because he helped me finalize the book. But I edited it, and then he looked over, and then he made a few changes. That was basically the editing process. Also, we would go over certain spans, like over like how the book was being made. We didn't just edit it once the book was finished. We edited it while the book was being made.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Preston, do you have another question? I see a hand still.
Yeah. What does the 2451 part have any importance?
It's basically the name of this plague. That's a classified name. They call it in the book. That's what they refer to it as in the book. And so 2451 is just a classification for the plague. So that way, like, it's basically calling the plague something like an official name, not like something like the Black Death or something.
Okay.
Just a classification of what the plague is. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you, Gannon.
Good job, Gannon.
Thank you.
And I think we're ready for our final presenter, which is Cassidy. So we'll let her get set up.
Okay. So, how do I share the screen? I think. Whoa, wait. How do I share the screen?
The little box with an arrow.
Has to be facing down. Click on it.
Hold up. Screen number 1.
Click on desktop. after you click
Desktop.
that.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So hello, I'm Cassidy Clone, and my Genius Hour project was learning guitar. This presentation is about my journey learning to play guitar and the triumphs and failures along the way. My first steps to my Genius Hour project was learning what the strings were and what sound they made, and then from there learning the chords so that I could play more songs. When I started getting better, I had to learn faster chord switches so it went together nicely and didn't pause in the middle of the song. When I was better at that, I started singing along to it, but it was hard to get the right tune and sing at the right time. My motivation was Taylor Swift. I used to listen to her music all the time, and most of the old music was played by guitar. My dad also loved the idea of me playing guitar, and he encouraged me to learn the second I told him I wanted to play. I played piano for a while before this and decided I wanted to play a different instrument a couple years ago. I just didn't know what instrument to play. There were so many people who helped me along this journey, including a lot of friends from school. My motivation died down a bit when the quarantine started, but it got back up by writing my own songs and learning to play them. My most powerful learning moment was when I dropped the pick inside the guitar and realized I needed to learn how to hold the pick correctly. If I could redo this, I would definitely learn to hold the pick before playing, so I wouldn't have so many picks lost all over the place. My original objectives were to learn 5 songs and learn all the chords. I exceeded my first goal by a lot and can now play around 30 different songs. As for the chords, I only learned 8 or 9 because I had trouble with the bar chords. I learned I could play some songs without the bar chords, though, when I transposed the music and used different notes. My triumphs in this project were that I learned way more than 5 songs, and I learned to use a capo, which clips onto your guitar, shortening the string and makes it play higher notes. You'll see the capo being used on the next slide. Here is a video of me playing a piece of Demons by Imagine Dragons. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but... Can you hear it?
Unfortunately, we can't hear it.
And they can't hear it. They can't hear it. Oh, no. No. Okay, well, I was playing a song. Okay, that's kind of messed up my entire PowerPoint. Oh, well. Well, I shall move to the next slide. Whoa, I said move to the next slide. Okay, there we go. Would I continue this project in the future? Definitely. I love playing the guitar, and I'm hoping to play my own songs someday, maybe on the radio or something, because I've written about 10 or 11 songs so far. They're in my notes. Thank you for watching. Any questions?
I do have a question for you, Cassidy. Great presentation. Do you see yourself learning to play different instruments in the future, or just guitar?
Yeah, I've been kind of interested in drums also for absolutely no reason. I don't know where that came up, but like, yeah, I've been really kind of wanting to learn the drums also.
Good job. I hope you do.
Preston, I see your hand.
Preston's mom, did you know any guitar before you started your Genius Time project?
Absolutely not. I had never even touched a guitar ever before I decided to start playing.
Well, we did a great job learning so many songs. Preston and I are still trying to learn the guitar strings.
Yeah. And I have a question myself, or 2 actually. What kind of guitar do you have?
Hold up.
Acoustic or electric?
Oh, acoustic, but like, yeah.
Okay. And what kind of music do you like to play?
Pop music, I guess, like pretty much pop, country, any of that. I don't really have a preference. No.
So, did you take lessons with an instructor, or are you self-taught?
I mean, my mentor, one of my friends from school, taught me, but like I didn't have an actual lesson.
I've been taking lessons too, and I think that when school starts again, that you and I should get together and play guitar together and try some songs?
Yes, that would be great.
I also don't want to put you on the spot, but since your video wouldn't play, if you want to try to play something live, we might be able to hear it. But I know that that is asking a lot, so it's okay to say no.
No, I just need to set it up. It's fine. I'm trying to get the capo. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I need a pick. It's in the... No, it's in that thing. Yep. Yeah.
Doesn't want to open.
No, it doesn't. Oh, I should never have closed that thing. Okay. This can move.
There you go.
Okay.
Go for it.
What should I play? I
Do
don't
the
know.
one you did on this video.
I need the music.
Oh, well, Grandma's.
It's in there.
Okay. Not set up for this.
Nope.
That's okay. Thank you for being willing to take a risk. I'm proud of you.
Here we go.
Is that the one you videoed? Or
Yes.
Grandma?
This
Okay.
is Grandma's feather bed.
Oh, okay. Not the one you videoed.
I don't have that in there. Well, actually, I do. I don't know. Can you sing and I'll play?
No.
Please.
No.
I don't want to sing it.
I'm not singing. No. I don't know all the words.
Then read it.
Nope. Go.
No. Okay.
You
I'm
do
just
great.
gonna play it.
No, you're gonna do it.
Okay.
Do the whole
This one I kind of mess up on sometimes because there's this one little chord that I can't quite get right, but when I was a little bitty boy, jumped up off the floor. Whoa. We used to go out to Grandma's house every month and or so. We'd have chicken pie, country ham, homemade butter on the bread. But the best darn thing about Grandma's house was a great big feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 40 letting geese took a hole. Folded cloth for the tick. It'll hold 8 kids, 4 hound dogs, and a piggy we stole from the shed. Didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. Yeah.
Yay! That was great. And that's actually a song I know. We can play that one together.
Yes.
Other questions and comments for Cassidy?
Nope.
All right. Cassidy, great job.
Yes.
You killed it.
Thank you.
Great job.
Should I
Well, this concludes the showcase extravaganza for Genius Talent.
Yes. Thank you, presenters. You all did an excellent job, and we appreciate our audience members and their questions as well. So you can take a deep breath. You did it. We're really proud of you. Good job.
Oh, we are very proud. Good job.
Yay.
All right. Well, then we will say goodbye to you all.
Yes.
Paulina, I don't know what you need to do if you need to stop the recording. I'm not sure how that works.
Yes,
Can you
I
take
will
care of
stop
that?
the recording right now.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.